Okay, here's one of my latest acquisitions that I found online. I have been doing a number of old classic kits, you might say. I find these online at pretty low prices, and they're fun, easy kits to build of I think interesting subjects. This one here is one of my favorite jets from back in the Korean War days, I believe. And it is the Pro Modeler by Revell-Monogram F84G Thunderjet in 1/48 scale. The nice thing about these kits is they're pretty easy to build. I would almost say that this could be a beginner's build, perhaps, mainly because the parts count is kind of low, and it's pretty simple. It's not real complicated. The only real issues you run into with these older kits are fitting issues and accuracy issues. I am not too worried about accuracy. I have found that a lot of these older kits are fairly accurate enough for me and for my display purposes. Yeah, and they're fairly easy to build. They're just a lot of fun, and that's what I like about making models, is that it's fun. It's a fun hobby. It's good for your mind. It's very relaxing, and you get a nice sense of accomplishment when you build a model kit that comes out good. So let's pause the camera and I'll open the box and see what we get. Okay, so as I said, this is a older kit, and I believe it's classified as used, even though it hasn't been started. But let's just look and see what you get. Now, right off, the general overall appearance of this kit is that it's molded well, and it has some pretty decent details. I see a little bit of flashing right there, but not much. This is the, let's see, well, I'm not sure that this sprue even has a letter assigned to it. It has a 0 on it with some other numbers, but there's no letter assigned to it. At any rate, there's a pilot figure. There's, I guess it's a radio equipment there. Some undercarriage doors. Let's see what else we got here. This next sprue is also not lettered. It looks pretty good too. It looks like there's the cockpit floor right there. There's the tail wings for the stabilizers. There's a big drop tank. A couple of bombs to put together. Pilot seat. Okay. The next sprue. There we are. We're looking at half of the fuselage, parts of the wings. There's some tires. The sprue on the bottom has the other half of the fuselage, the rest of the wings, and there are some what appear to be rockets. underneath all that, let's see what we got. We have a plastic bag that contains a little bit of photo etch. And if I remember correctly, this is photo etch is for building a ladder. And then this one piece here is for the air brake, I think. Okay. Clear parts. Clear parts appear to be all intact. There's the main part of the canopy, the windscreen, some lights, and then they give you a little clear peg here to help hold the tail end of the jet up, because this is a tail setter. So you're better off putting weight in the nose than using that thing. Anyhow, here's the instructions. Pretty simple, straightforward instructions by Revell-Monogram. Diagrams are really easy to follow. They give you some actual photographs of the real thing. And we have a giant decal sheet. These decals look good. A little bit of yellowing, but nothing serious. In the step one, they have instructions of how to build the seat belts and shoulder harnesses. They also have the little paint not diagram, but chart here with all the paints you're going to need. The last pages show you where to put the decals. Oh, here's some more. There's a lot of pages that show you where the decals go. Okay. Decals and stencils. And what color to make it. Looks like the colors they're recommending for this, the overall jet, is aluminum. That's what it looks like. Yeah. So, and there actually is some decals that go on the rockets. Yeah, like I said, it's a pretty simple build. I mean, you look at the tail assembly here. Pretty darn simple. The engine basically has a little piece of plastic to represent the exhaust. There's the tail cone of the plane. The two stabilizers in the back. The rudder is in two halves, and it's part of the fuselage, so you don't have to put that on separately. The cockpit assembly, pretty straightforward and simple looking. Not a whole lot to it. And then they show you here, if you want to, how to build the ladder with the photo etch parts. Oh, they show you what colors to paint the pilot figure. Oh, let's see if I can get him in the camera. Okay, yeah. The photo etch ladder is just not going to happen. I worked at it for a while, and it's beyond my old fingers and eyes to stick together. And honestly, I've had other models where you get ladders with them, and I never used the ladders, so it's no big loss to me. So anyway, I just got through gluing the 4 parts of this pilot seat together. One part was the little headrest, and then there's the 2 sides, and then the main chair itself. Am I going to build the seat belts, the shoulder harnesses? Probably not. I have tried to build seat belts and shoulder harnesses before in the past, and the photo etch for this is so minuscule. Again, it's beyond me. I cannot work with photo etch that small. Even when I was younger, I tried it, and I just can't do it. My fingers are just too clumsy for small stuff. Bigger photo etch, yes, I can do medium to larger size photo etch. This photo etch right here is going to be no problem. And I have done photo etch railing on ships, and I don't, it's a little difficult, but I can get it done. But these itsy bitsy little harnesses here, right there, there's no way I can do that. And I don't really care. The seat's going to look fine without them. I mean, I could probably just put some strips of tape in there and stick those harnesses, stick the hardware part of the harness on there. Maybe do it that way. That way I don't have to weave paper or tape or anything like through these things. And it would look probably just fine. So I might do that. We'll see. I want this to be an easy build. I'm not too worried about getting every single little detail done. I know this is why this particular model is a pro modeler from Revell and Monogram. It's because of that photo etch. But if I was really into making these seat belts and harnesses, I would get something that's aftermarket, that's already kind of like, you just cut it out and glue it on. I just can't do this. I know, I've already said this 100 times. I can't do this small photo etch. Anyway, moving on. I've got the seat done. So I will now move on and attach the seat to the cockpit floor and the instrument panel and all that stuff. Here is the instrument panel right here on this sprue right there. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to paint it NATO black, and then I'm going to do some dry brushing on it to bring out the dials and the details and that sort of thing. And then there's also a rear bulkhead right here that gets painted the interior cockpit green. There are these 2 consoles that go inside the cockpit with indications of instruments, so I will dry brush these also. So yeah, that's what I'm going to work on now. I'm going to paint these things black while they're still on the sprue. That's the easiest way to do it, and then glue them together. I have this cockpit built as far along as I think I'm going to make it. I've elected not to put seat belts in it. Number one, it's kind of hard for my fingers to do and my eyes. And number 2 is you're not going to see it. That's the bottom line. You just aren't going to see it. If I was building this for a show, oh yeah, I'd put seat belts in it, but I never build anything for show. I also have, this is all part of, oh, I think I'm into step 3 by now. This is part of step 3. And this is just 2 parts. And on the one side is the front wheel bay with the built-in doors. And then this part is the air intake divider at the nose of the jet. And this, I'm going to paint all of this part where the air intake is. It's going to be painted with the flat aluminum. So that's going to be next. This cockpit is all done basically. I've painted it and done some dry brushing, and that's it. That's going to go inside the jet like that. Okay. All right, I have glued the cockpit in and the intake divider. The cockpit did not stay where I glued it. It's crooked. And I don't think I'm going to be able to fit this thing together, or the 2 halves together anyway. I'm going to have to do something here to make this fit better. I'm not sure how to do that without busting it up. So let me work on that for a while. I have the 2 halves of the fuselage together now. I haven't glued them yet. They're just dry fitted with tape holding it together. I want to see how it all fit. It looks like everything's fitting really well. I had to work on the cockpit a little bit. I didn't have it lined up the first time. I didn't have it lined up properly, but I got it in there right now, and it all fits good. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this up, and we'll continue on.